Well, here is the project that we have going on here right at the moment. It is the day after Thanksgiving, and we ended up combining 25 or 30 acres of corn. Yesterday, ended up getting all the trucks full, and we got done where we were at. And on this unloading, this is the drive for the grain unload. We've got this bottom pulley right here, and there's a shear pin drive hub right here, right where that gray piece is. And where the shear pin comes through, it was cracked here yesterday morning. I'll insert a picture right in here now to show you the crack that was in that hub. I knew I was on borrowed time, and once we got into the last part of the day here, finishing up what we had to do here yesterday, that pulley started to really vibrate, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to go much farther. Just luckily we got done where we were at. Now we got the combine inside here, so we've got to get this apart. There isn't anybody here locally that has the parts. We're getting a little bit of snow now anyway, so we're gonna tear into that. And the combine was due for an oil change, so we're draining the rest of the oil out of it. Now I had to take the tarp off of the bin and then fold the bin extensions down so that I could get in the door here. And we only have 60 or 65 acres left, and I'm not going to bother with putting the tarp on to finish that little bit of corn here that we have left to do. So we need to dive into this here, and hopefully I can get this tore apart in time so that they can order some parts, and maybe we can have them delivered here for tomorrow morning, and maybe get back going by tomorrow afternoon. So we're doing part of the service on this that we would be doing once we got done combining. So we're kind of getting a little bit of a head start here. We have had a few issues with this grain unload setup. I burned a set of belts up here a while ago, and this shroud here, there's a broken stud on the top side, and I was not able to get that out of there, and this shroud was riding down too far, rubbing on the shaft, so I jammed in a bolt just up ahead of that bolt there to keep that from coming down. So now with that pulley and everything off of there, I'll be able to get into there and get that broken bolt out. So let's just see what this turns into here. The other project that we still have in the shop is the 900. I got this rear sway bar assembly. It's the same as this one here, and the pin setup, and I guess it was the front side ended up wearing out, and that is out to Allied Spring now. Put a set of brakes into it, obviously switched the tires over, so we're just waiting to get those parts back. And we've got a set of batteries to get into it, and we're also going to take the loud pipes off of there so that it has the mufflers back on there for hauling manure. So let's go ahead and tear into this project here. All right, the oil's all drained. I actually have new oil in it, oil filters on there. We have this pulley sheave and stuff removed, and what I have, there's a shroud on there, there's a backing plate on this side, and it's fastened on this arm with 3 M8 fasteners. There's one here, there's one, oh, where the heck is the other one? Maybe there's only 2 on this part. No, there's 3. There's one in the front. There's one right, oh, where is that? Right here. And then there's one right here that's broke off. So we've got to dig that out of there. And it is also held on up above here. And what that shroud does is it just kind of keeps these belts into place so that they're kind of just hanging out there until you activate the grain unload, and then we've talked about this before, that hydraulic cylinder that's right there pushes this mechanism down, tightens up the belts, and that's how your grain unload works. So we've got the old parts over here on the bench, and I've got to order some bolts and some bushings here for that shroud, which is this shroud right here. And then this shroud mounts on there like that, and then this pulley and whatever is setting right here. This bolt broke off, and when this bolt broke off, it allowed it to squat down a little bit, and it was rubbing on the shaft right here. And the only way I could replace that bolt is to remove what we have removed here. So to keep this shroud up off of that shaft, I just stuck a bolt in here so that it would come down on the rear bolt that was holding this shroud on there. So this is the drive pulley here, and what this does is it just, well, it's got this drive hub that is just kind of setting on the shaft, and then there's a shear bolt that goes through here. And what I had noticed yesterday when I went to replace a shear bolt, this housing was cracked, and it allowed that nut to just sink right down through it, and it allowed this aluminum piece to break. The hub on the back side, which goes on the tapered shaft, I don't know if this is hot still or not, just a little warm. This here is hooked to the shaft, and then this comes through the back side of the pulley, and that's where you run the shear pin. If you get something caught in there, it breaks the shear pin, and then this pulley just idles on the shaft. I think what happened is, I think this bushing wore out on the inside of this hub here, and then it allowed this hub to get all wallered out. And then once it got wallered out, it was kind of running untrue, and the only thing that was holding it true was the shear pin on this hub here. So we've got to order some parts here, but the first thing I need to do before I order parts, I've got to get that broken bolt dug out of there, and we're just going to use the welder here to weld a nut on the back side, and then we can put their sheet metal on, hopefully get some new parts here by morning, and get this back together. I've got some more filters to change. There's 3 hydrostat filters to do, hydraulic and hydraulic drive filters. There's one up there, one here, and then there's one on the other side of that hydrostat there. So we'll dig that bolt out, and then hopefully we can start putting some stuff back together here. Alright, so I can't get in here with my welding helmet on, so we're gonna have to do this with no helmet, and then I just got to get it lined up, then I got to close my eyes. And I don't feel that that is too successful, because right at the last second it felt like the vice grips moved. So what do we got here? We've got somewhat of a puddle inside this nut, so I'm going to fill it again. And I don't know if that would have done it or not. Looks like I blew the nut. That's hooked. That's hooked to the bolt. it looks like I have glued that. Yeah, that worked. Alright, so this has worked. And then we're just going to spin this out of here. Just a lock so. Okay. So that is taken apart. So what we need is new fasteners here, new bushings and whatnot for when I put this piece of sheet metal on, but there is our broken stud there. Alright, we have gotten as far as we can go with this project. I ended up replacing the drive belts for that auger unload. I've got the parts ordered, and this bushing here that goes inside the hub, that might be the only thing that's hanging us up. Everything is in Grimsby. Will be to Kaz in the morning. However, this bushing here has got to come out of Milan, and being that it is Friday with an overnight delivery on a Saturday, there's no guarantee as to whether or not we will get that bushing. I've got some filters to change on this yet, and we've got the compressor in here because that doesn't want to run. However, we need to go to the field and help the guys get a spreader out that is stuck. So Sarah is going to take 9320 over, and I've got to take telehandler over, and we've got a small spreader to take over so that we can offload the manure into the small spreader. So we're going to go over and tackle that project. Oh, we probably should fix the key switch on this tractor. We have to start it with a screwdriver. So that's what she's doing there now. And that's how that's done. She gets a little nervous doing that, so. Well, we are on location. They got we're using the frac tank over here, and they're hauling over here with 4 trucks, and they needed the other spreader, which is hooked to the 8360. It's the 6,000 gallon spreader. We've got the 8,500 gallon tanker hooked to the 9410. Now, we had a problem. We would have had 9320 on the spreader, or we did have it on the spreader. However, the heater core sprung a leak, so Jared pulled it off the smaller spreader just so they could have heat. And Sarah has had to drive it over here with no heat. So I've got the telehandler, I've got a cable, long cable, and a log chain in the bucket. And then what we're gonna need to do is we're going to need to hold the hose up in the air on the spreader off the back of the 6,000 gallon tanker spreader so that we could back the V spreader in underneath it to offload the load, so that we can lighten things up a little bit. So we've got to get the heater core fixed on that tractor, but being that we're monkeying around with dry shell corn and spreading manure and whatever else like that, a few things have been put on the back burner here. So this here is the Beeler farm, and this is There's like 120 acres here. And this field, it's real long right here, but there is some rock ledges and some islands and some spots that we kind of have to farm around. There's an island right there. There's another long rock shelf way over to our left. And then this field has got, you know, we've talked about it and I've shown it in videos. It's got about the goofiest shape file you ever did see. So I don't know really where he's at with this spreader. I'm assuming that he is on this far side because the V spreader is way up ahead of us here. And apparently he slid down over a hill or slid backwards or something. So we'll touch base with you once we get up to the actual scene of the event here, or the stuck spot here. So you can see they're spreading in a couple of spots. It's closer to the frac tank just so that they could catch up, being that we're hauling in here with 4 trucks. Well, the spreader's up there, the V spreader, and I'm assuming that he is in a spot that one of the other guys have been in about 10 years ago. Coming up a hill, down into a little dip, back up again. Spreader slid over about 10 years ago in this spot up in this area here. So let's go ahead and see what we're working with here. We got truck 12 offloading onto the frac tank up there, and we're just traveling across the field here. Andrew, he ended up chopping the stalks over here, 3-4 days ago. He got this all chopped in here. He actually had a blade come off of the bush hog. I said, oh, that's great. I assumed that he hit a stone, but the bolt came out of the blade, it fell off, and he was able to find the blade. So there's the spreader up there, and it is exactly where it was about 10 years ago. So we'll get after it. And as you can see, there's more rock ledges here to our left that runs all the way down through that side there. And what we need to do is we need to get over here and burn some of that stuff there, just to knock the brush down. And then the property line, we've got somewhat of a rock ledge there, but where the trees are standing, that's the property line. So it doesn't look like he's really stuck all that bad, but we'll go ahead and get it offloaded here anyway. Yes, that is the same spot that we were in 10 years ago here. So we might have to pull Sarge up out of there once we offload onto him. I'm gonna park this bucket over here so that I can just hang the hose right off of the tool carrier here, and I need both hands in order to unlock the bucket here. Alright, so we've got the bucket unlocked. Back away here. And we'll get the hose off, get positioned, get the spreader in place. Alright, we've got this moved down the hill a little bit. Before we try offloading it, we're going to hook on and just try to pull it up out of here. We're going to try to save a few steps here. So Sarah's going to do the videoing, and we're going to get hooked on and get it pulled up out of here. That's videoing right we'll get that. I'll grab that with a telehandler. Just get yourself spread. And yeah, well, that wasn't too bad, just a little greasy. We had everything in place over here to offload it. However, I just wanted to save some steps here and try it. Being that everything is kind of slippery, the 9320 wasn't going to hurt anything if we weren't able to pull it out. That 8360's got about enough. It's got almost as much ass as this 9320 has got, but it just lacks a little bit of weight. So I got to get to work here. Sarge carried the cable over by himself. Now he's going to roll it up by himself.
You're good at it.
Fun is over now, so now you get to drive that cold bastard all the way back to the farm.
Fun.
Look at the rooster tail that spread plate's doing. That awesome or what? Okay, well, I'm gonna climb back in my warm cab. You don't want to. You're gonna need them. I don't need them. I got a warm cab. You want to take the telehandler home instead?
No, I like it.
You like that one? All right. Well. You hooked that up for nothing. Oh well. Well, folks, that's gonna do it. I didn't plan on doing a stuck video today, but he was trying to stay out of the area that we could spread on here, and he just got over that edge just a little too much there, and got into a little bit of a pickle. But I figured it's not going to hurt anything to try it. If we were dug right down in to where we had to really pull on it, I wouldn't have risked pulling on it without unloading it. But it is what it is. So we're gonna go ahead and get back to the farm. It is about 3:30 right now on Friday, November 27th. So it's the day after Thanksgiving, and I was going to finish this video out with the repair of the combine, putting it all back together, but I think we've got a long enough video here. So Davy's just getting spread off there. We'll get this equipment back home, and we gotta address the heater core on that 9320, because that would be nice to have some heat. It's about 28 or 9 degrees. It's not quite to the point where it's below freezing that much. So that's gonna do her, folks. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you at the next one. We're gonna race this guy out of here.